Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I'm bringing you guys a brand new video today, and today we're going to dive into the world of Pokemon Unite and discuss the 4 new characters coming to Pokemon Unite over the next couple months. And you might be like, aDrive, 4 new characters, I only know of a few, and we'll talk about that as well. If you guys enjoy the Pokemon Unite footage, be sure to hit that like button down below, and of course subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as I do post Pokemon videos every single day, and I've actually been live streaming Pokemon Unite on my live streams at twitch.tv/aDrive every single day. So we're gonna have a blast. We're gonna break down these Pokemon, talk about what we think is coming with them after this new Pokemon presents, and much, much more. So let's dive into it. Before we jump into the video, I want to thank my friends at Skillshare for sponsoring today. For those who don't know who Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators and anyone with a fire that needs igniting. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. You can take classes in almost anything from graphic design to marketing, entrepreneurship, and even photography. For me, I really enjoyed watching Make Creativity Your Career: 6 Exercises to Create a Successful Side Project by Andy J. Pizza. If you know me, you know I'm all about the side hustle. I believe the 21st century is for the entrepreneur to explore their creativity, and we now have the tools through online digital marketing to reach more people than ever before. This class breaks down finding out who you are and how you can truly capture that perfect side project inspired by you. The beautiful thing, there are no ads on Skillshare. It's specific to your learning, and they continue to launch new premium classes so you can explore your creative passions and broaden your horizons. Educating yourself today is one of the best things you can do to strengthen your future self. So right now, the first 1,000 of you in the aDrive Army to click the link in the description below, get a 1-month free trial to Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. Do something today that you couldn't do yesterday, and check the link in the description and sign up for Skillshare right now. Okay, so the first Pokemon we're going to talk about here in this video is Mamoswine, and Mamoswine was one of the Pokemon revealed in the most recent Pokemon Presents, and we can see it doing a few different animations. There's been a lot of questions about Mamoswine of whether or not this is going to be an attacker, an all-arounder, support, or defender, and I think it's pretty safe to say it's probably going to be an attacker or an all-arounder. The logic behind that is simply based off of its stats. Mamoswine is one of the highest attack stats in the game at base 130, and it's a very offensive Pokemon. I really don't anticipate it being a defensive or support type Pokemon. It seems as though they're really kind of looking at the Pokemon and fitting them into their roles of how they would normally function in the main Pokemon games, for the most part, generally speaking. So in the context of Mamoswine, I think attacker, all-arounder. My gut is that he's going to be an all-arounder because he is pretty naturally bulky. I don't really think he's going to be a speedster, obviously. Mamoswine has base 80 speed, but it's not nearly as fast as like a Talonflame or a Zeraora, but I think it'll have really, really decent bulk and deal a lot of damage, and we see it using a handful of moves in the trailer. The first one is kind of hard to understand. It's using kind of icicles on its fangs, or its tusks rather. That could be Ice Fang. It could also be Icicle Crash. You would think Icicle Crash might come from the sky, but ultimately I think it's probably Ice Fang if I had to take a guess on which one of the 2 attacks that is, or what ice type move that Mamoswine learns. It could be. I could see him using things like Ice Shard maybe, but he's also gonna have ground type moves as well, and we see him doing a really cool attack, which I believe to be Stomping Tantrum. He kind of jumps around, and it looks very much so like what I would imagine be depicted as Stomping Tantrum. So that might be 2 of the moves that we can expect on Mamoswine: Stomping Tantrum and Ice Fang. It's gonna be interesting to see how this character plays out. Mamoswine known for using moves like Ice Shard, very, very fast-hitting priority moves, so we might see something like that where maybe it's got a super low cooldown and can chip things off. Maybe it's a ranged attack where he can shoot it as a projectile, which could be really, really cool, much like Pikachu's Electro Ball. So a lot of speculation here, but I'm really excited to see Mamoswine, and it's a Pokemon that I'm super stoked about because it's one of my favorite non-bug type Pokemon that's ever existed. So I'm all about it, and I can't wait for it to drop. Now, the next 3 Pokemon we're going to talk about in this video, we have a lot more information on, as there's been data mine leaks that have happened in the past, and while this information is not final, so kind of be cautious with that, I think we have a really good understanding of what to expect here. The next Pokemon we're going to look at is Sylveon, and Sylveon, of course, was revealed in the most recent Pokemon Presents trailer, and we see it using a handful of different moves, and I believe the first move that we see is actually Hyper Voice. We know Sylveon's moveset is basically as follows. It's going to have Swift, Psyshock, and Hyper Voice, as well as Attract, Draining Kiss, and Fairy Wind. and that gives him a nice kind of collection of moves that you would see in competitive, Hyper Voice being the main thing it gets from Pixelate, boosting its normal type moves. So maybe that's what its passive is. It boosts its normal type moves like Swift or Hyper Voice. We'll have to see. But Attract seems like it's something that could potentially slow the enemy. That's probably what it does. Maybe lures it to them. We know that Wigglytuff's ability, I was trying to remember the name of the Pokemon. Wigglytuff's ability is Cute Charm, and its passive pulls Pokemon close to it. So maybe Attract does something similar and stuns or slows them down. Draining Kiss probably steals some of the life from the enemy, much like Giga Drain does, and Fairy Wind may be a stun type move, although it doesn't do that in the normal games. It may have some sort of CC going on there. Hyper Voice is probably just a high damaging move that shoots out in kind of a beam, and Side Shot could be a handful of different things. We've seen them use moves like Surf multiple times, but have it function differently for different Pokemon. So we'll have to see how that plays out, but ultimately I expect Sylveon to either be a support or an all-arounder. I really don't anticipate it being a defender. While it could be, this moveset doesn't really kind of come off to me as a defender type moveset. I think all-arounder probably makes more sense. I guess you could see it being support, but until we really get an understanding of how each of these moves plays out, it's really hard to knock it as a support Pokemon, if I'm being honest. So at this point, I'm gonna say Sylveon probably is an all-arounder. Would they release 2 all-arounders back-to-back? I don't know, but that would be my guess. I'm curious as to your thoughts in the comments section below. What do you think Sylveon's gonna be? The next Pokemon is another data mine Pokemon that has not been revealed to us as a playable character in Pokemon Unite, but through the data mines and the information that we have, we expect it to come at some point in the not-too-distant future, and that is Greedent. Now, I'll be honest with you, Greedent is not exactly the Pokemon that I anticipated being in Pokemon Unite, but I'm really excited because I think it's a super cool Pokemon. It's an early game Pokemon. I think it could be super unique when it comes to how it functions with berries on the map, and that is what we're going to talk about with Greedent. I think Greedent falls into either the support or the defender role. I'm thinking it's going to be defender. He's definitely not going to be a speedster. I guess he could be an all-arounder. I don't think he'll be an attacker. I think it's probably going to be defender or all-arounder, maybe support. It's really hard to say on these Pokemon, but looking at his options here, it starts with Thief, Round, and Gyro Ball. Now, Gyro Ball is a steel type move that does damage based on your low speed stat, so perhaps maybe it does increase damage if you have your speed dropped from something like an opposing Pokemon's move slowing you down. Round is a normal type move that deals damage in succession, so perhaps if you're using Round more frequently, maybe it'll do more damage. And Thief obviously steals items from the opponent. How crazy would it be if you can steal or nullify their held item? Or not their held item, but the trainer item for a short period of time? That would be crazy. Like, what if you were hit by Greedent's Thief and you couldn't use your eject button for 15 seconds? Like, it started automatic cooldown. That could be metagame changing for sure. It also gets access to Wish. Wish is a move that over time is gonna heal an ally Pokemon or maybe yourself. So maybe it could be a supporter by doing that. And then here's the thing I'm super excited about, Stuffed Cheeks. Stuffed Cheeks is a signature move by Greedent that allows it to consume a berry and boost its defense stats. And because of its passive ability Cheek Pouch, it actually would gain more HP from that. So I'm curious if there's gonna be some sort of mechanic with Greedent where you can maybe, every time you run into a berry, maybe you can save a berry for later. Like Stuffed Cheeks allows you to activate that healing, almost like a backup potion later in the game to boost your defenses. Or maybe something with the berries I feel like could be really cool. And as you guys know, there's citrus berries in the map. There's the Salic berries in the middle of the map for the junglers and kind of around Zapdos in the middle of the game. So I'm curious how that's gonna play out. I'm very excited to see what happens with Stuffed Cheeks on Greedent. I think this is one of the most exciting things about it. Super unique, super cool Pokemon. Really stoked to see what happens with Stuffed Cheeks. And then last but not least, we have Belly Drum as an option for Greedent. Belly Drum is a move that cuts your HP by 50%, so you lose half of your health in exchange to max your attack out. Now, we haven't seen a ton of moves like that in the game. We know like bulk up on Machop and Machoke and things like that, but sacrificing a significant amount of your HP to boost your attack to a super high level could be crazy for a Pokemon like Greedent, and makes me wonder what classification it's actually gonna fall into. Can you use your Belly Drum to boost the attack of an ally instead? A lot of questions to be answered about this funny squirrel looking dude, but hey kids, we'll have to see what happens. And last but not least, you guys already know about it, it is Blastoise. Of course, Blastoise is part of one of the early betas and everyone's like, where is Blastoise? But we know it's ultimately gonna come out eventually. It's a defender, it could come out as soon as next week, we'll have to wait and see. But we know its moveset is Water Gun, Hydro Pump, and Water Spout. Ultimately, Skull Bash, Surf, and Rapid Spin. It's a ranged defender, can deal damage at a long range. We'll have to see how good it is in comparison to Pokemon like Snorlax, but Blastoise we know a lot about, everyone's waiting for it. Don't be surprised if it comes soon, but maybe for some reason they're holding it off. The reality of it is, when they drop Pokemon Unite in the most recent Pokemon Unite trailer before the Pokemon Presents, Blastoise is featured in it hardcore. So at this point, I'm expecting Blastoise to come out in the next 2 weeks, and then they're gonna do Mamoswine and Sylveon next month in September. So keep your fingers crossed. Keep your optimism high for Blastoise. I think he's coming sooner than later. I think we're gonna get Blastoise soon. Again, he was featured in so many things. I really don't see them waiting until the September 22 mobile launch, I believe it is. But I guess time will tell on that one. Blastoise is coming. It'll come soon. Don't worry. So that's pretty much that in terms of the Pokemon that we know about. This is the data mine information for Pokemon Unite and the characters that we know with movesets and what has been revealed so far. What Pokemon do you want to see most? I am still holding out for Scizor or Heracross or Golisopod. I feel like any of those would be amazing. I just am hopeful. I'm so hopeful. But guys, hit that like button down below. Big shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm so excited to continue to play Pokemon Unite over the coming weeks. I've been basically playing it every day. So I'm waiting for these new characters because it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you guys for watching this one. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.